Are you wondering what speedster to use in the current meta? Whether you're climbing ranked or just trying to carry your team in solo queue, picking the right assassin can make all the difference. Today, I'm ranking every speedster in Pokemon Unite based on my experience, their impact in the current meta, and how well they perform in real matches. Let's dive into the S, A, and B tiers, and trust me, some of these might surprise you. Gengar, the stealth nuker. Gengar punishes overextending and bad positioning better than almost anyone in the game. Sludge Bomb plus Hex is a lethal combo. You poison the target, then teleport to them repeatedly with Hex, dealing huge damage and resetting your dash. With the right items, Gengar's burst is terrifying, especially against squishy enemies. And thanks to Phantom Ambush, he can engage from stealth, flank the backline, or just vanish from danger. But he's not easy to use. Gengar is fragile and struggles in sustained teamfights. You need good timing, vision, and awareness to pick the right targets and escape afterward. He's also a mid to late game Pokemon, so early game farming and stacking are crucial. In the right hands though, Gengar can erase threats before they even know he's there. Talonflame, the aerial assassin. Talonflame might look simple, but in the hands of a smart player, he's incredibly dangerous. His insane mobility lets him fly across the map, backcap goals, steal objectives like Rayquaza, and escape fights with ease. Fly gives him vertical mobility and burst, while Aerial Ace lets him reposition quickly and finish off low health targets. His Unite move charges faster than most, which means you can use it multiple times in a single match, perfect for clutch scores or cleanup kills. Zeraora, the electric duelist. Zeraora is all about calculated aggression. He's slippery, explosive, and can duel almost anyone if you play your cards right. Spark gives him 3 dashes to reposition, chase, or escape, and if you pair it with Wild Charge, you get a deadly single-target combo that melts carries. Discharge, on the other hand, gives you teamfight presence with AoE damage and shields. What makes Zeraora shine is his versatility. You can adapt his build depending on the enemy comp, but he's not perfect. Zeraora has a weak early game, and if you fall behind, it's hard to catch up. His moves also come online a bit late, so smart pathing and level timing are key. Still, once you hit your power spike, Zeraora becomes a mid-game monster that forces the enemy to constantly watch their positioning. Now let's move on to the A-tier speedsters, strong picks with a few more conditions or counters to watch out for. Absol, the classic crit machine. Absol is all about high-risk, high-reward plays. With Psycho Cut to mark enemies and Pursuit to chase or burst them down, Absol excels at catching opponents off guard. The crit-focused build makes every dash dangerous, and the Unite move, giving untargetability, allows for bold initiations or sneaky escapes. The downsides? Absol is fragile and heavily crit-dependent. One mistimed dash or bad position can spell disaster. But for players who can read fights well, Absol delivers explosive results. Leafion, the high-skill hunter. Leafion is fast, aggressive, and hard to pin down. With Razor Leaf and Aerial Ace, Leafion delivers high burst damage and mobility that makes it perfect for jungle clears and flanking fights. It scales well and rewards confident plays. But Leafion is not forgiving. Crowd control and burst can end its run quickly, and the high skill ceiling means it takes real mastery to get value consistently. In the right hands, though, Leafion becomes a slippery assassin that punishes hesitation. Meowscarada, the slippery slayer. Meowscarada is built for outplays. With Night Slash and Trailblaze, this speedster can dive in, deal strong area damage, then dash away before getting punished. The key? Trailblaze resets if it knocks out an enemy, allowing you to dash again and keep the momentum going. Meowscarada also gets buffs, survivability through Overgrow, and great mobility, but the early game can feel rough. It doesn't get its first primary move until level 6, and crowd control or burst damage can shut it down fast. Still, with good timing and smart engages, Meowscarada can turn fights in an instant. Darkrai, the crowd control menace. Darkrai brings more than just damage. This speedster controls space with ease. Dark Void puts targets to sleep. Nasty Plot boosts mobility and power, and the low cooldowns let you keep the pressure going. Darkrai excels at creating chaos in teamfights with constant CC and slippery movement. The trade-off is durability. Darkrai is squishy And if the combo whiffs, there's little room for recovery. Also, Dark Pulse is best avoided, so build variety is limited. Still, Darkrai is a strong disruptor that can carry with good positioning. Now, for the B-tier Speedsters. These Pokemon have serious potential, but they're just too reliant on specific supports, comps, or conditions to be consistent in most matches. Dodrio, the Speed Scorer. Dodrio plays unlike any other Speedster. It's all about speed, scoring, and chaos. With Tri-Attack and Jump Kick, it can poke, reposition, and steal points fast. The triple score mechanic allows for unique flexibility, especially in solo queue. Paired with Float Stone and movement-boosting builds, Dodrio becomes a blur across the map. But the downsides are serious. It's squishy, can't abuse Overdunk scoring, and becomes borderline useless when hit with crowd control. Since Dodrio's kit revolves entirely around the sprint mechanic, being slowed, stunned, or knocked up ruins its value instantly. It thrives in niche comps or when ignored, but that rarely happens in ranked games. Zoroark, the risky trickster. Zoroark can be devastating, but only if everything goes right. With Feint Attack and Shadow Claw, Zoroark has one of the most mobile and combo-heavy playstyles in the game. When played well, it can dash through the map, dish out burst damage, and escape before the enemy even knows what hit them. Add the Illusion passive, and you've got a sneaky hit-and-run threat. But here's the catch. Zoroark is fragile, combo-dependent, and highly susceptible to crowd control. One misstep and it gets deleted. Outside of its Unite move, it lacks unstoppable moves, making it vulnerable to stuns and slows. And now, with Clefable's gravity dominating the meta, Zoroark often can't even get close without getting locked down. So while Zoroark has the tools to carry, it demands perfect execution and a supportive team, or it falls flat. Galarian Rapidash, the flashy wildcard. Galarian Rapidash brings unique flair to the Speedster role, with Dazzling Gleam for solid AoE pressure and Agility for unstoppable movement and shields. It feels like a mix between a bruiser and a skirmisher. It can dart into fights, disrupt, and then sprint away, all while looking fabulous. But here's the problem. It's heavily dependent on movement speed to do anything. If it gets slowed or stopped, its damage drops, survivability disappears, and positioning becomes a liability. It can shine in speed-based comps or with proper setup, but alone, it lacks the reliability of higher-tier picks. So that wraps up my Speedster tier list, based on my experience in the current meta. S-tier picks are always strong if you've mastered them. A-tier has power, but clear counters. And B-tier, they've got potential, but they're just too reliant on the right support or comps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.